What's going on, everybody? Sparks Comics here. I have a huge haul from Pensacon, which was a Comic Con in Pensacola this past weekend. I dropped the interview I did with Jonathan Hedrick, the writer of The Recount, earlier this week, but I hadn't gotten a chance to sit and show you guys everything that I picked up. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. So if you want to see this giant haul, a lot of Scout Comics books, which is awesome because they were there. Some other pickups, some pickups from some shops that were in the area as well. So stay tuned for that. But first, you guys know the drill. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Like this video. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think of this haul that I picked up. And if you haven't, hit that notification bell so you know when we're dropping new content on the channel. Welcome back, everybody. Let's start digging into this haul because there's a lot of things to show you guys. I'm going to start out with books that just kind of random stuff that were picked up either at the convention or at a nearby shop. Starting off with this awesome Gotham City Sirens #8, featuring, of course, Poison Ivy right there on the cover. Just such a fantastic piece of cover art that I could not pass that one up. This is going to be a little challenging to do all these here. A book from Boom Studios that I wasn't too familiar with. That's by Frank Cho. This is Skyborn #1 of 5, and it's signed by Frank Cho. So I figured that was worth picking up just because that looks kind of cool, and I get to check out the series, and Frank Cho signed it. One of the books that I've always wanted to pick up, but I've never seen this in the wild. I've seen it, of course, on eBay, Mercari, other places. But Amazing Spider-Man #493, one of the J. Scott Campbell covers. I hear really good things about this run in this time period, and I never gotten to read any of these, so I'm going to start working on that era of Spider-Man pretty soon. And this is something interesting. I found a set of 1 through 6 for this series, The Magic Order. I've heard great things about this. At one point, I think there was a Netflix show that was in production, or it was optioned to Netflix, that kind of thing. But it's Mark Miller, of course, and we got Oliver Coipel on the art. So I've heard good things about this. I wanted to read it. Here's 6 issues of it. I don't know if it goes longer than that, but I thought this was a really cool cover as well. So I picked this up, and it was like $10 for all of them. Can't beat that deal. It's cheaper than they would have been cover price. Here's another one that I have part of the series, but I haven't been able to read because I don't have the rest of it. 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank, and this, I believe this is issue #2. Yes. So I had issue 1, but not 2. Again, I think something that was optioned, but who knows, options never are a guarantee that they will pan out, but I do want to read that story. So this one's an interesting one. It's from Comics Tribe, who published this. Wailing Blade #1. I saw this at a shop in the area, and I remember seeing this somewhere. I don't know where. But because that was in my head, I decided to pick it up, and I'm going to check it out and read it. It's not in perfect condition, but it's it's a reader's copy, and that's why I got it. They had some dollar bins at one of these shops, so I picked up some issues from that. We've got Artemis and the Assassin from Aftershock Comics, and it's written by Stephanie Phillips, who's killing it on Nuclear Family and Harley Quinn right now. So I figured it might be worth checking out some of her previous work here. And then we have the Autumnal #1. Like, how is this in the dollar bin? Such a killer story. It took me forever to find issue #1 to begin with, and I just came across it for $1. Awesome. Also in the dollar bin, this shocked me. Origin of Echo here. Daredevil number 53. That's pretty cool to come across, especially with Echo coming up soon in the MCU. This one was it was $3, but Swordmaster number 1, so we get the start of his solo series. I figured that was worth picking up just because of the character. I'd love to see the new Agents of Atlas appear on screen somewhere, whether it be Disney Plus or movies. I love those characters. I haven't gotten to read his whole series, but that is something that's planning on doing at some point. This one blew my mind too. Silk number 2, second printing. So this is the original Silk series for $4. Like, that was kind of silly that they're selling early Silk for that cheap. This one I think came from another shop. Again, pretty cheap, and it's a variant for Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel number 8. I'd never seen this cover before. This is a Civil War, an homage to the Civil War comic where Peter Parker reveals his identity. Super cool. Super cool. And then we've got something that I picked up, and I didn't realize I picked up 2 of these. I was finding some masked books for Travel and Root Beer, but accidentally got 2 of these, so now I get to check out The Mask Strikes Back, which I've been planning on checking out The Mask based on his recommendation. So now I get to do that. And this one, Sith Lordly talks about all the time. You know, he has a hoard stash of Star Wars Adventures number 16. And I figured, why not? Let me check out this character that he's very hyped about, which is first appearance in this one. So $1, couldn't pass it up. And then why not get some more Spider-Gwen, right? For $5, her first issue of her solo series. It's a killer price. This was at the con. I have the version of Jenny Zero number 1 that has the error, and so I did not have the actual properly put together story, so now I get to read this finally, and I'm excited to do that because I was looking forward to this series, and kind of when that whole issue popped up, I got upset because I didn't want to read the story out of order. And then Seven Secrets number 1 for cover price. It's a steal, right? Magic number 2, the 1 per store variant. Again, a cover price buy. I did not believe that, but this store was really cool. This was one of the ones in Pensacola. I think it was like Pops Comics or something like that. Awesome place. Great indie selection. I think they're also one of the Bad Idea retailers as well. So pretty cool place. I recently, and you'll see later when I show off some trade paperbacks I picked up, but I'm trying to get into reading Middle West. And so I figured, what better way than to pick up the Scotty Young final issue variant, which I thought was amazing cover before, and just wasn't, trying to get into Middle West at that time. And then I picked up issue number 2 as well. I have issue 1 already, and I did pick up, and I'll show that off later, the trade paperback for volume 1 of that. So that is everything from kind of the stores around the area and some of the random things I picked up from bins. Let's start out with some stuff. I was at the Scout Comics booth, and I was talking to Andrea. He's one of the editors, or in charge of editing for Scout, but he's also the editor for Massimo Rossi, who has done a lot of stuff with Behemoth and Scout. Right now he's got Vietnam Horror out from Behemoth. He's got Locust from Scout. He's got Broken Souls Ballad from the Black Caravan imprint of Scout. And so we were talking, and he does all of the editing work for his books, and he was recommending some things from Massimo Rossi. So I got Dark Frontier Volume 1 here. He said this is what he feels is like his best work, at least his favorite of it. And then I got Morningstar here as well. Another one of his great works that he really enjoyed. And because I got those, he threw in this series, Rise of the Tyrant. And so this looks pretty cool. It's got 4 issues. All 4 of them are in here. So I'm really excited to read some of these earlier Massimo Rossi works. I love what he's doing right now with the books that he's got out. So I'm looking forward to checking those out. Those just wild. They aren't Scout books, but because he's his editor, he had those books there as well, along with the Scout stuff. And so at the Scout booth, we also had part of the reason I was going over there. We had Jonathan Hedrick was there. Of course, like I said earlier, I did a mini interview with him and posted that because he had a Kickstarter going on that I wanted to get the word out about. And I backed that one. It was Quicksand. I think that ended already though. But I'm sure at some point that you're going to see more of Quicksand in the future. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. But yeah, Recount, I got him to sign my issue number 1. Unfortunately, I hadn't gotten to read the rest of it, but thankfully he had issue 2, issue 3, and issue 4 there. And so I got to pick those up, and now I can, and I got to read the rest of it. It's just an amazing series. I may do at some point a review of the full series when I get the chance to. But in addition to that, as I was, getting excited about the series, I started saying, oh, let me pick up some variants here. So this is one that he signed right there. This one, the Dead President's variant, hollow cover, is just phenomenal. So good. He said these hollow covers were only available either for himself or for the artist. He sold them on his Patreon. And it's just beautiful. It looks so cool with that signature there and on the black. And again, one here, just the hollow is just beautiful. And then last but not least, I got the Recount number 4 Set It Off homage, because this art by Brian Silberbacks was awesome. And it was a CBCS 98 signature series already. The thing that Jonathan was saying about these, he was selling the CBCS for cheaper because it took less time for him to send them into CBCS and get them back versus the CGC ones he was selling for more because it took more time to get them back. So I thought that was really cool, and I like both slabs, so I figured why not go for the one that supports some CBCS, and it's cheaper to pick it up that way. The other thing is I brought this for him to sign, Freak Show Night, super cool one-shot from Second Sight Publishing that he wrote, so I got him to sign that also. The other Scout writer that was there, it was David Byrne, so I picked up, I've been hearing such good things about Steak, and I've been putting off buying it because I know I'm going to like it, and I know that sounds silly, but you guys probably know how my pool list is. Got a lot of books on there. So I just decided, well, I'm here. I can support the writer directly. Let me buy some copies from him. So Steak number 1. Steak number 2. Number 3 here, which I thought this was cool. The way well, it looks like, so he looks like he may have signed it 2 spots, right? So there's a signature there, but it also wrote "Dab" across her stomach. I thought that was pretty cool. But that's, I believe, then his initials, David Byrne. And then, of course, the cover here, which I'm blanking on the artist on this one. It's one of 2 artists that the other artist is going to do a similar cover that's kind of flipped on issue number 4 for Stake. So keep an eye out for that. But the other thing with Stake that's going on is they've done a Kickstarter for kind of a follow-up series. So Stake presents Jessamy, and I picked that up as well so that I could then read the follow-up after I read through Stake. And this looks just so cool. There's a lot of good covers on it. I just went with the basic one for that just because of how many cool things were there. But then I also picked up this, which looked really cool. It looks like a leather-bound journal kind of thing. And the inside pages keep that old-timey look with, like... let me just show you real quick because this is such a cool concept, keeping with kind of the era of the book. We've got this really cool style of paper on the inside, and the texture on here gives it a little bit of a leathery feel, but it just feels like I'm flipping through maybe an old journal or something. So I really loved that idea and figured why not. 2 other things Stake-wise, because I went all in once I went in. This is the original version of Stake with a different artist on the interior before they went with the final artist. This was part of their Kickstarter, I believe. And then the preview version of Stake, which is like 6 pages long. They don't have too many of these left. I thought that was really cool, especially this whole thing here. Vampires are real. Deal with it. They're not all bad. Some are. Stake is here to keep them in line. So I went in on Scout completely because they're such a cool company, and they've got a lot of good books out right now. So figured I'd show that support. Next to David by the Scout booth was Travis Gibb, who is an author that's done a lot of things through Kickstarter, including this series, Broken Down for Dead Bodies. Issue 1 here, I got the cover artist to also sign Carl Moline. So he did this variant cover for it. There's issue number 2 here. And then issue number 3. I just saw that from their Kickstarter for the series, issue number 4 is getting ready to be sent out. But for me, that means I gotta find another way to buy it because I wasn't aware of it at the time in the Kickstarter. So I will have to track one down at some point, maybe catch him at another con. And then another one that he wrote, Voodoo Nations. This is issue number 1. This was just the cover A from it. I think this was set in Brazil. Issue number 2 is on Kickstarter right now and will be set in New Orleans. So I'm looking forward to that one. And I just backed that today on Kickstarter, so you guys should go check that out. Voodoo Nations. The last thing I got from them was this Cthulhu Invades Oz. It's an anthology series that also had stories in it from David Byrne and had stories from...
Sorry, I can't search by topic.
Apparently my watch is listening in. But it had stories from David Byrne and Jonathan Hedrick as well. And the cool thing that they set up in the back was this Yellow Brick Road Hall of Fame board for them to sign at their story. So I thought that was super cool. And this is a glow-in-the-dark Cthulhu on the cover. So how can you go wrong with glow-in-the-dark Cthulhu? They're doing a follow-up to this of Cthulhu in Wonderland. That's going to be pretty cool, so I'll let you guys know when I see that Kickstarter is going. Last but not least, I picked up some trade paperbacks to read. Like I said before, Middle West #1, Invisible Kingdom Volume 1, and God Country Volume 1. And then this one caught my eye because it Jen Bartel. I know nothing about it. Crystal Fighters by Jen and Tyler Bartel. It does look like earlier art by her because it's slightly different style than what she does now, but it's still very much a Jen Bartel style art. So I am definitely looking forward to checking this out because I love her art. It's interesting to see. I don't know if this says what year this is from or not. I figured it would somewhere. It's from Dark Horse. Here we go. So it's 2018. So not too long ago, but it was before. I think she really took off in the last 2 years. I'd say is where her art started getting really noticed. But yeah, that is a large haul from Pensacon. Thank you guys for sticking this out if you made it to this point. Really appreciate you guys watching, supporting, subscribing to the channel. Please like the video and drop a comment below. Let me know what you think of what I picked up, if there's anything from there that you're interested in trying to track down. And as always, guys, collect what you love. See you next time.